Hey, I just wanted to sit down today and just talk to the camera for a second. I don't even have the words to really know what to say about anything right now. Like, there's so much happening in the world, personally. There's just, everyone I think is kind of struggling with everything right now. The first thing that I wanted to address is, of course, the most kind of recent thing that's happened, kind of in the news and such, the death of George Floyd at the hand of a police officer, which is, of course, an ongoing issue in this country, in America. I feel that that's something that I'm still working to educate myself on, and I hope that you are too. On social media, I tried to share the words of people who I felt could say things well, whereas I don't have that experience, and I don't feel educated enough to really say a whole lot, because you know it's tough. So I'll link some resources down below if you want to educate yourself on the Black Lives Matter movement. But I do want to say that I support it, and I am hoping for justice for George, as that whole situation is just so tragic. And I 100% support the peaceful protests of the Black Lives Matter movement. It's good to see that they are finally being heard. It's really saddening to see the people who have taken advantage of it and are trying to silence them by causing violent riots. You'll hear people from, Black Lives Matter come out and say, we don't associate with them. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to cause violence. We're here to have ourselves heard. And I think it's really important to recognize that the riots and the Black Lives Matter movement are not one and the same. To me, I think that's like one of the most important things to recognize right now. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure you guys didn't think I was ignoring this situation. It's just something that I feel is really tough to talk about, and that's why I've shared the voices of others on social media, because I feel that that's more effective from my standpoint. It's crazy too, because we're also in the middle of this coronavirus pandemic, and it's like this entire thing has been swept under the rug and we've forgotten about it, but people are still dying from that, and it's just, the world is kind of a mess right now, and it's really sad and overwhelming. I ended up taking like 3 or 4 days off from YouTube and stuff because I was feeling so overwhelmed and just so overwhelmingly sad about everything, and I didn't feel right making content. And on top of that, I was already all overwhelmed with YouTube and everything, so to be overwhelmed with that, and then on top of it all this stuff was going on, I needed to stop and take a step back and take a break for a minute, and so I did. And thank you guys for being understanding of that. That was really important for me. So something that I've actually done over those past few days, I was making a whole video about it, but I didn't like the tone of it. It just didn't feel right, so I just thought I'd talk about it here. I deleted my Facebook account, and I also unfollowed everybody on Twitter and on Instagram, and that's kind of something I've been thinking about doing for a while. I think it's important to educate yourself on things going on in the world, but the oversaturation on social media and the arguing and the negativity was too much for me. And again, it's so important to educate yourself and to speak up and to share your voice and share your opinion, but it's also okay if you feel overwhelmed by everything and you need to take a step back from it, which is what I did. It's okay to do that as long as you continue to do your research, watch the news, know what's going on in the world. But for me, to see it on the news and then see it on Twitter, see it on Facebook, see it on Instagram, hear it on the radio, it was just too much for me mentally. So now I just have been doing research and watching the news and have distanced myself from those social media platforms. That's not the only reason I got rid of them, / unfollowed people. The reason I did that, Facebook I got rid of because at this point in my life, it's mostly family, and it's a lot of arguing and a lot of negativity, and it's just something I didn't feel I needed anymore. And unfollowing on Twitter, I think I talked about it in the video that it's no longer going up, but they make it really difficult for you to see only the things that you want to see on Twitter, because they show you the things that the people you follow, who they follow. It shows you that stuff. It shows you everything they like. It's like so-and-so and so-and-so are following this person. Check out this tweet. And it makes it really hard to like concentrate what you're looking at. And before any of this, like, was experiencing a lot of negativity for that reason. A lot of fighting, and just cancel culture has been so huge on Twitter lately. It's been insane. So I wanted to unfollow everyone so that I didn't have a timeline anymore. And it's also, Twitter's always been a huge time waster for me. Like, I'll just open it and just scroll forever and not look at anything. So between it being a time waster, the negativity, the arguing, the just, you know, everything's been kind of crazy. And then kind of the same for Instagram. I just didn't want to, you know, be wasting time scrolling through there anymore. So I unfollowed everyone, and it's been almost a week since I did all of that, and I've seen personally a positive effect on my mental stability, taking a step back from social media. I mean, in general, social media is so toxic and so unhealthy for so many reasons, and everyone says it, everyone knows it, but it doesn't stop people from using it because it's so normalized, like, in our culture, which is, you know, it is what it is. So that's something I've done to try and help myself mentally and help myself breathe, to just take a step back from social media. I also found myself, like, I was comparing myself to people a lot on social media. That's something everyone does, I think. Whether it's in the form of, you know, comparing yourself, how many likes that person got, what that person's body looks like, how aesthetic someone's page is, how many views someone gets. That's something that I found myself doing a lot on social media, and on YouTube too, unfortunately, but I'm not gonna stop posting YouTube videos. Don't worry, guys, that's not going anywhere. I'm sorry this video is all over the place, but I really just wanted to sit down and talk because I didn't know how to address things, and I felt like this was probably the best way to do it. And the last thing I wanted to say is, over the few days that I did take off, I realized that taking breaks did absolute wonders, both for my mental health and for my productivity. I thought about it, and I think, like, I'm gonna slow down my content release. Posting every day, posting every other day even. If I keep with that schedule, I feel like I'm just putting out content to put out content, not content that I'm proud of, just content, you know? I don't want to be one of those channels that just puts out things and it just looks like you're grabbing views. And the one thing I pride myself on with my reaction videos, well, the two things, I guess. One being, I always want to be genuine, and over the past couple of weeks, I was filming things and I was filming them and not feeling genuine about the reactions, and I threw a few of them away because I was like, I'm not posting this doesn't feel genuine, this doesn't feel real. So I just said I'm not going to post them. And I think, like, I was just like trying to do too much, so I'm slowing down kind of how I release content. Oh, and the other thing I pride myself on my reaction channel, if you're wondering, is my editing, because I like to take time and, like, really edit my videos, which is another reason I want to slow down the content release, because the more time I have with one video, the better it's going to be, and that's what I really want to share with you guys, like, my best content. It's just, it's hard to really grasp everything that's going on right now, and that's kind of everything that I wanted to say. And I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. I hope you're staying safe, because at the end of the day, those are two very, very important things, like your safety and your well-being and your mental health. So please take care of yourself in this time. Again, it's hard to really even begin to speak about anything when just so much is happening in the world. And personally, just going through some stuff too, so it's, you know. But I guess that's it, you guys. Be kind to yourself. I love you, and thanks for being here.